Peace, what's good, y'all? This is Hawaii Mike, and you are tapped into Everyday Flow series where we just talk about things we gotta do every day to create balance for self so we can be our best selves. So if you like what we're doing here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and those notifications so you get them alerts and you don't miss out on any content. All right. So today I decided randomly I'm gonna do the 72-hour water fast. And you know, I do intermittent fasting for the most part, pretty much an 18-hour day. So I usually have about 6 hours where I eat. Lately, though, I've been starting to snack more and also eat ice cream, which is like the sugar part, especially late at night, is my kryptonite. Like I'll tell you, I'll sit there and eat a whole pint of Haagen-Dazs like it's nothing, right? And then throughout the day, discipline everything else. So sometimes I have to shock my body, reset, physically, mentally, everything. And I've never done the 72 hour. I've done 24-hour fasts, the master cleanse for 9, 10 days. I've done, juice fasts and other things, but I haven't done the 72-hour water fast. And I'm very curious, to what it's going to be like. I've been feeling a little bit bloated lately. It's a little bit of soreness. I don't know if it's inflammation or just being sore if I've been working out. And I just want to see what it does mentally as well. A lot of people say it gets challenging. I'm actually at the 24-hour point right now, actually 25 hours while I'm doing this. And I feel fine. I feel great. I could definitely, this is what I love about these things is this is where you start to see how much your mind and how much we make decisions to be comfortable, right? Like if I'm challenging myself, I could sit here and not eat. Right now, though, if I wasn't doing this, I'd probably have eaten already, going, "Oh, I need to eat something." But am I really hungry? Am I really, really hungry, or can I just drink some water and I'm good? Or those times when it's like you're overeating, and we just have to learn to turn that discipline on. So I love doing these kinds of challenges. And what I've been, I've seen a ton of videos on this. I've studied a little bit, and you know I know it really stimulates our immune system, right? And can do some incredible things with fighting cancer and chronic slash autoimmune diseases. And it's like, I know when I don't eat, right, and I do my regular intermittent fasting, it's great for weight loss. I do feel better. It helps my mood, helps inflammation go down. And, it's a great practice to do because we've been programmed really to think that, they tell us to eat multiple meals per day, right? Eat those small meals, eat frequently, you know, eat food to nourish your body. But insulin resistance is too much sugar in the body, and that happens from eating. It actually can happen from not eating because you're not ingesting any, you're not consuming any kind of glucose. And so it's much harder, probably even impossible, to get that if you're not eating frequently, right? So fasting for a longer time throughout the day or prolonged periods like extended days or even weeks for some people can really change, our body's metabolism and help us to really flesh out anything that we don't need in our bodies. So, you think about this right now, for me at least, a lot of my thinking has been around the control, the divide and rule, the systematic programming, us being in this, them putting us in this matrix. And if you don't know you're in this matrix, you don't see how they're really just like trying to control us. And a lot of it is through things like food. And, they tell us, they give us those pyramids. They tell you eat multiple meals throughout the day. But that doesn't give your body a chance to eat anything. It kind of just stacks things on constantly, especially if you're not working out in between those things. And who has time to do all of that, right? And so, you know, eating throughout the day, even for me, like I've been intermittent fasting, I want to say probably like 6, 7 years now. and I've been really disciplined about it. I've been really on my game with it. Until recently, I've started to consciously, because I was actually losing more weight than I needed, and I wanted to stay around like, between 165 and 170. Um, but now, after listening to doctors and a few other people talk about the 72-hour water fast, I'm like, could they really just be informing us and feeding us ways to hurt ourselves? Like, again, because healthcare in this country is a business, right? Do they really truly want us healthy, or do they want us scared, anxious, and feeling sick all the time? So we need their prescriptions. But imagine if you could really combat disease through things like fasting, because your autoimmune system, this is why I do things like cold showers, Wim Hof breathing, intermittent fasting. It's shocking your body so it boosts your immune system, because if your immune system isn't strong, if it doesn't need to fight anything, when it actually does, it's going to be weak. You know, they say, not they, there's an Instagram account I follow, Ali Zatiri. He says cancer is a signal, it's not the disease. It shows the signs, and then it eats away at us, because it's like we're not prepared to fight it, because again, like I just said, our immune systems may be weak. Intermittent fasting, just even in an 18-hour day, right? Like I said before, helps you lose weight, helps you feel better mentally, emotionally. Your mood will rise, your energy and inflammation goes down at that point. So once you get to 24 and 48 hours, though, those benefits get like turned up a notch or two or three or a bunch, right? And including, you deplete most of the glycogen. So all the sugar buildup and everything that's in your liver, you're burning ketones. 80% of your fuel uh, is ketones, right? So hormones, especially growth hormones, like human growth hormones, HGH, muscle stuff, that builds up when you're fasting. You're burning fat, you're promoting growth of muscle. And with that, like I was like, well, should I work out or not? And I've been seeing mixed reviews on that. So I'm trying to figure out, I'm gonna see how I feel tomorrow. Today I rode the bike for about 45 minutes. I had to go run some errands. And then I walked a bunch, but I don't know if I want to work out yet or not. I got to see how I feel tomorrow. So I'm gonna tap back in with y'all on that. Like I said, promotes muscle. Your brain starts to feel better because the ketones are feeding the neurons. And then there's autophagy. I'm messing it up, but it's basically removing all of the junk, all of the dead cells, all of the stuff. These things that turn into those kinds of diseases, right? And chronic ailments. And so it turns them into new cells. So basically, you're regenerating. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a tune up. That's what kind of got me into this and looking at it. It's like, this is a 72-hour tune up for mind, body, and spirit. Let me see what this is about. And again, this is everyday flow. This is us finding the things that help us create homeostasis and balance for self. So what works for me, I always want to caveat this, what works for me may not work for you. And also keep trying different things, right? Because sometimes our bodies get used to certain things and then they need to change, right? Because we've adapted to that already. Remember that. So, autophagy. Look it up. AUTOPHAGY. And basically, it helps turn toxins into valuable resources that our bodies need. The prolonged fasting prunes your brain, like it takes the things out that are unnecessary. And insulin shuts down all of the above. And so if they're constantly telling us to eat frequently, and that creates more insulin, but the insulin shuts down all of those, then what's going on? And that's why we got to question everything. Not only do we need to be curious, but we need to put the information they feed us to the test. We need to experiment. We need to prove it, right, wrong, whatever it may be. So it's not about being the best version of somebody else or being the same as somebody else. It's being the best version of you. So listen, go in, listen to self, see where you're at, and see if something like this, will help, because look at all the benefits. And I haven't even got to the 72-hour part, right? From 48 to 72 hours, right? The autophagy is killing viruses. And again, there's this doctor, damn, I forgot his name. I gotta go look it up. Maybe I'll put it in the comments. But there's a doctor that said herpes is untreatable by any kind of medicine, right? You get herpes, you contract herpes, you got it for life. But guess what? The only way to get rid of it, he says, is through fasting, getting to that 72 hours, right? Out your system, and other kind of viruses. But don't get too excited, guys, like, and girls. Keep your Jimmy hats on, protect yourself, because you never know. All right. And don't start relying on things like this to be all of a sudden miracle fixes. We're stimulating our immune system. We're challenging our immune system. Our immune system is asking itself, what's happening right now? What's going on? What do I need to work on? What am I fixing? So it's building itself up. Also, we don't have to nourish our bodies with food to get healthy. We should nourish our bodies, though, when we do eat. So while I do say, like, with intermittent fasting, you can pretty much eat what you want, but again, find things that are balanced. You're going to have those cheat days and you're going to have things that you want to have. We're all like that. We're human. But try to balance as best you can. Be conscious about what you're putting in your body, no matter what you're doing. And once you get to 72 hours, stem cell therapy kicks in. So what y'all think about that? You don't have to go get those crazy procedures or go down to Mexico or wherever you got to go out of the country to get that done. What if you could get that just through fasting? And again, these are all things, none of this is proven by experiments. None of this has been, there's also contradicting perspectives. And some people say it's incredible, it's this great. There's other people who say, oh, it doesn't work, it's terrible, you can do it other ways, right? I do believe, though, fasting is very important. There's tons of cultures. There's a lot of traditions. 40 days and 40 nights, right? Ramadan. There's fasting all over because, again, we had to fast sometimes because sometimes there wasn't food, and it's just part of life and it's necessary. And I think doing it not just for our physical but for our mental. When you're going through this and I'm going through this, I'm asking myself, do I really need food? And so will that bleed over when I'm not fasting? Well, I'm not doing a 72-hour fast. I'm probably still fasting during the day. So tons of benefits. I did just hop into this. And the only reason I just hopped into it is because I do intermittent fasting. If you want to prepare yourself before, say 48 hours before you're going to start eating smaller meals, right? Don't eat as much. Do intermittent fasting. Drink a lot of water. Stay hydrated. And while you're doing this, make sure you get electrolytes. Make sure the electrolytes don't have any sugar, any carbs, any calories, any of that. If you can get plain, get plain. Real salt. If you get the right kind of electrolytes, I use Relight. It has real salt in it already, plus the potassium and magnesium. And if you're low on these going into it, so that's another thing. You should also probably prep more. I take electrolytes every single day. I also take college, which I don't think I'm supposed to take, but you should prep leading up to it. Make sure you have enough magnesium, potassium, all of that in your system. Maybe even a little dash of salt throughout the day. Maybe add like about a tablespoon, but real salt, not kosher salt and not the iodized salt you're getting. You gotta get like real salt. So look that up, see where you can buy it. I'm pretty sure like a Trader Joe's will have it, but I'm not 100% sure. But again, if you're deficient and you're low on any of these things, it's going to magnify to make sure you have enough in your system. The last thing, and this is super important, almost every video I saw said the same thing when it came to this. Breaking fast it can change the whole experience if you do it wrong. So do not go out and say, oh, it's 72 hours. Let me go get this pizza. Let me go eat this steak real quick. Let me eat anything like a bunch of carbs. You know what I'm saying? Like no carbs. Stay away from the carbs. Maybe have some like bone broth, maybe a green juice, right? Start slow. Maybe a salad for the next meal. And then the next day, you can have, or maybe it's like steamed vegetables, something like that, right? But the next day, then you can go back to eating your regular meal. But allow your body to readjust and get back to eating food after 72 hours because it's just water. But you can also drink tea and coffee. Black, no sugar, obviously, no cream, no none of that. But you can drink coffee, can drink tea. It's just nothing that has carbs, sugars, calories, or anything of that nature. So you don't get an insulin spike while you're doing this. And that'll throw off your fast. So yeah, man, if I'm 24 hours in, let's see how this goes. Check back with y'all. And remember, if you like what we're doing here, come back, hit that subscribe button, tap in with us. All right? Remember, everyday flow. Gotta stay moving. Movement is medicine, and we want to be healthy. Let's eat and consume natural medicines, both physically, spiritually, mentally. All right? Peace.